You are now tuned in to the Elite Report with Dorian Brown and Tyler Coleman.
Hello, everybody. I am Dorian Brown.
I'm Tyler Coleman.
And this is the Elite Report.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Presented to you by Elite Amateur Sports. We're going to get right into it. Football is here.
We finally back, man.
We back.
Best time of the year, I think.
Definitely the most exciting.
For sure. A lot of talented teams in St. Louis.
St. Louis is probably the hotbed for talent in the NCAA. I mean, we have multiple kids getting D1 offers. So many to name, we can't name them all, but salute to all the athletes out there playing high school football in the area.
Agreed, and I think that the talent is starting to be widespread over the state, and so I think that's been good. But St. Louis in itself, I think it's been really
it's been dominant. We've been able to get state champions in football and even in basketball. So it's just a great time for St. Louis sports in general. We're gonna hop right into it. Week 1.
Yes, sir. Where we at, man?
We are headed to the Smet Jesuit High School. The Smet Spartans versus Hazelwood Central Hawks. We have a lot of new things going on with Hazelwood Central. Let's start with the man in charge.
Okay, well, got a new head coach over at Hazelwood Central.
Yes.
So he has some things he got to fulfill. They lost a couple seniors, a couple impact guys. Raphael Bell, Dallas Critty went to Iowa, played safety, had numerous offers.
Yeah, definitely, and he'll probably end up being a impact player for Iowa.
I agree.
And we had Whitfield Jr. He went. I can't remember what school he went to, but he went to like a Division III or JUCO school. He's a really good, smart player. Had quite a few interceptions for them on the defensive end, and he was their punt returner.
Okay.
So
I think Hazelwood Central, per usual, I think that they always have a good group of kids, so they're going to always have a lot of kids. So you'll be able to mix and match some things. I think it's going to be a good year for them, but I think it's going to be a little bit different. For the new coaching change and with some of the seniors gone, some of the leadership, I'm curious to see how they're going to turn that.
Yeah, and for those who don't know the head coach, Kerry Davis, he went to Illinois University, played with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a Super Bowl champion. He also worked with 101 ESPN, and now he's going to lead the Hawks into the new era of high school football. And I think you couldn't get a better person.
I will say this, though. He has his work cut out for him in week 1 against Smet.
Definitely. Smet also has a former NFL player, and he's, I believe this is his 3rd year as the head coach of Smet. He's really moving the program in the right direction. He has a lot of young talent, and I'm looking forward to this matchup. Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you, starting off with the young talent, man. The guy that I'm highly intrigued with is Jordan Johnson. The kid's pretty special, wide receiver. He can do it all. He averaged 25 yards a catch. Had 655 receiving yards. So I think that he's going to be very, very big for them. He's going to be a lot of their heartbeat.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the person who's really going to move the program in the right direction is Rico out the backfield.
Rico Barfield. Yeah, he's good.
He's a sophomore this year, and when I tell you he ran the ball effectively as a freshman.
Yeah, he did.
That's pretty impressive.
Had 550 rushing yards, finished with 620 all-purpose yards. I think Rico is going to be someone that's special. I've gotten a chance to see them at a couple jamborees, and I've been really impressed with their running backs. I think they have some really good potential, to be honest with you.
Definitely, and the offensive line is going to be the key for them. They have a lot of young pieces, and I think the chemistry of the offensive line will be something that I'm sure they're paying close attention to.
I agree. I think that if that they can make a huge change and take a step forward with the culture. They finished 1-9 last year, so I think that if they could take that step, quarterback Nate helps lead the team. I think that could be huge for their success this year.
Definitely, and he has another target with Rashad Harvey. He's also a sophomore coming in this year. He was second team all MMCC, and that's no small feat, because the MCC is probably the best conference in the city of St. Louis.
I agree 100%. I think that this week 1 matchup is going to be, to say it's going to be a little bit powerful. These two teams usually go after it in week 1.
Yeah, definitely, and they have a history of going after week 1. And speaking of great teams, let's get into some impact teams who you think is going to be really special this year.
Okay, well, I got Eastside. They should be.
Eastside is the city of champions.
Coach Sunkett always has those guys ready to go.
Always. He's a proven head coach. He has multiple state championships with different teams. He's been on the Riverview staff as a head coach, won the state championship back in, I believe, 98. And now with Eastside, he's back at it. I mean, he's reloaded every year and been very competitive.
Eastside's always a team. I always say they're a man among boys.
Yes.
Because those guys are really working to be the best that
yeah.
And they compete at a high level.
And quietly.
They do.
They don't take any social media posting, all that. It's all about one thing: getting in between those lines and smacking you in the face.
I think the thing that I'm really impressed with Eastside is I just want to see how they're going to look up front this year, because those guys, they usually I mean, you had Terry Beckner went to Mizzou.
Yes.
I mean, they got guys that compete at a high level on their offensive and defensive line. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Another impact team, who you got?
Let's stick with Eastside and go with Trinity, because they're going to battle in week 2 of the Eastside Classic.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you this right now for the whole St. Louis. If it's a game that you must go to, well, first let's talk about the whole Eastside Classic in week 2. That's going to be crazy. But
yes.
Just talking about this matchup between Trinity and Eastside is going to be explosive. I mean, you probably aren't going to see more D1 players on the football field at one time. I mean, Trinity is a team that I feel that they have pretty much almost everything that they need. They got a quarterback going to Illinois in Isaiah Williams. He's very special.
Yeah.
He is one. He is the one.
Yes.
They have Marcus Washington at receiver. They have.
Can I stop you really quick?
Okay.
I want to say something about Marcus Washington. I feel like he's my favorite football player right now.
Okay.
He's 6'1", 2", would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Long arms. Can jump and go get the ball. Don't be surprised if you see some clips of him mossing some people throughout the season.
Agree. I think that the part of Trinity that's going to be very, very special this year is their running back. I like Alfonso Andrews, Reggie Love, and then when they throw in Terrion Cooper as well, that's going to be very, very dangerous.
I don't think there's a more gifted backfield in St. Louis than that right there.
Agreed. I think they got they got speed, they got a little bit of power. I think those guys are really going to get after it.
My question is, up front, are they going to be able to impose their will against their opponents? First, week 1, they're going to Georgia, and they're playing a very talented team.
Colquitt County.
I mean, if you guys are old enough to know, MTV did a show about a football team out of Alabama called Hoover. The head coach is now the head coach of Coleman County, and he's going to have the team ready. The facilities are amazing. They have an indoor facility, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that Trinity, they got a big test up front, but the thing that I think that Jalen St. John and Ira Henry, I think those guys are going to take the step and be able to compete. And if they can get their other members on the line to be ready to compete with them, I think that'll be good. And I also think on their D-line with Martez Pointer, I think he's very, very special.
He's so underrated. No one's really talked about him that much, but he can get after the quarterback.
Agreed. Let's go on to our next impact team. I'm going to have to go with CBC.
CBC, We don't have to get deep into them because I think everybody pretty much knows how good they are. They have a system, and what the coach is always doing is he's always preaching competition.
I think that CBC, they're the defending state champion. Yes. And I think the thing about CBC that's probably the thing that I like the most is they did it without 3 of their D1 receivers in the state.
It was amazing.
And that spoke volumes to me. And the fact that most of the guys that was on that team that played in the state championship game, they got those guys back. And they get MJ Anderson back. You know, he just committed to Minnesota.
Yes, defensive end, big guy, skilled, can get after the quarterback. I'm interested to see how he comes back from that ACL tear.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's gonna be a spark. They didn't have him last year. I know he's gonna be working on that defense for CBC, and they should be very, very competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out there and maybe get a Class 6 state title again.
Well, speaking of a title, we have a team who's chasing one who missed out on their opportunity last year in Lutheran North. I know Coach Reed is going to have his guys ready to roll again. They have a lot of kids who moved on, but they do have some impact players in running back Azubuki, who I think can be a really, really stud at the next level.
Yeah, Lutheran North is a team that they're now in Class 2. Cardinal Ritter and Trinity moved up to Class 3, so that kind of helps them. But, man, I know Coach Reed's going to have those guys ready to go. They're bruisers up front. They're going to pound you. They're going to punch you in the mouth. And it's really going to be up to you to decide if you want to step up and be a man today, because they're going to come at you 100 miles per hour every play.
And you mentioned a team that's moving up to Class 3, which was kind of vacant. I think the only team in Class 3 who really had a shot at winning the state year in and year out was McClure South Berkeley, who has some talent, and then Lutheran South. Now you have Cardinal Ritter, who moves up. BG, can he take Ritter to the promised land?
I mean, Ritter's skill positions, man, you got Jameson Williams, kid that's electric speed. They get a guy back. He comes back to St. Louis, and Cameron Coleman from IMG Academy. I know he's looking to put on for St. Louis. They haven't seen him in a minute.
That's an important fact because he won a state championship with Vianney 2 years ago. Now he's looking to come back to St. Louis and make an impact, and he's also looking for a lot of offers.
Yeah, I think that Cardinal Ritter is going to be a team that I think you're going to see them develop every game. I think that their quarterback play should be a lot better this year.
Yes.
I think that their wide receiving core is going to be special. I think they got a good change of speed. You got speed with Juice Man. You can go straight down the field, and then you got another wide receiver that can do some things that Cam Coleman. So I think they're going to be special.
Yes, definitely. And they have a freshman.
Talk about that man.
He's a legend out here in the streets. They call him Touchdown Luther.
Okay.
For those who don't know, I followed the young man pretty closely. What he lacks in far as fundamentals, he picks it up with his instinct and his ball hawking play. I mean, it's unreal how much he is close to the ball. Like when there's a fumble, an interception, he's always near the play, and he has a certain knack for making the big play.
Luther Burden, I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of people are going to be very surprised about. If you don't know him, he will be a household name soon. I think that the guy is a kid that's going to be special. He plays wide receiver on the football field. He plays basketball as well. He's a two-sport athlete that can really do it, and I think he's going to be special this year.
Definitely. And speaking of freshmen, we have a couple more freshmen, impact players, who we think can make a huge impact their first year. And one other one is Kevin Coleman.
Man, Coach Bethany's a lucky man. You got Mr. Kevin Coleman. I think that guy, I heard they used to call him Little ESPN, some people told me.
ESPN, flu game. Team 3. He got a lot of nicknames, and when somebody has a lot of nicknames, it's because of the legend or the mystique about him. And I think in Coach Bethany's offense, you're looking at a guy who probably could get over 1,000 receiving yards his freshman year, which is unheard of.
Kevin Coleman is a guy that he has like this swag to him on the football field that I just absolutely love. I think he runs routes very well. I think the kid is going to be special. I don't want to put too much pressure on any of these guys, but to be honest, I think they've kind of put it on themselves with the way that they've carried themselves through middle school football, JFL football. I think that they are here to stay.
I've covered both of these young men really closely. I've talked to them before, and they're ready. They're ready for the light. And I have no doubt that both young men will do excellent at the high school level. And the last impact freshman we have is by the name of Jaden Wannstedt from Lutheran St. Charles, a defensive tackle. He's 6'2", 285. I've seen a video of him squatting over 500 pounds.
I'm going to be honest with you. This kid, I can't even call him a kid. This man as a freshman is going to be, he's going to be special. I think the kid, the way he doesn't really have any fat on. It's like it's all muscle.
It's all muscle. Young, big. I believe he's Samoan descent, which let's look at facts. Samoan descent kids now in football are some of the kids that are highly looked at especially in the Pac-10. So now we have one in the Midwest. They're really stocky. They're big. They're ready to roll right out of high school. So I'm looking for him to make a huge impact with Lutheran St. Charles and stopping the run, which is very important in high school football.
And I kind of heard a little buzz about him in 8th grade. I heard he was playing a little bit of USA football as well. So that's something that, he has some high regards coming in as well, too. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Okay, now players on the rise.
Talk to me.
Let's quickly get into it. We have, I believe, 3 or 4 guys. 4? Yeah, 4 guys who we want to look at really quick. Vito Orlando from Lutheran South.
QB, right?
QB.
I heard he lost a running back in Cody, so I know that they're going to put even more pressure on him.
Yes.
To step up. I think he had 2,392 yards and he threw for 30 touchdowns. He had 12 interceptions as well, but I think he'll decrease that, with maturity as that comes along. Definitely.
And I know he's been working during the offseason. I've actually been to a couple of his training sessions with a QB cartel. He's looking to get a lot better. Secondly, we have Terrion Cooper, a.k.a. Mookie. He went viral over the summer this year with a video. It went on ESPN, USA Today. What can we expect from him at Trinity?
Terrion Cooper is a kid that his speed is like, you can't blink when you watch him on the football field, to be honest. It's just like the guy is
electric,
to say the least.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I love about Terrion is he can play in the backfield.
Yes.
You can put him out wide, play receiver. He can really do it all. So I think he's going to be a person that's going to be very, very special for Trinity and a sleeper that people, like everyone knows Marcus, Isaiah, all those guys, but I'm telling you, Terrion Cooper's here to stay.
Another guy who people really don't know. He hasn't played varsity football yet, but he comes from the Smet. He's going to St. Mary's. Quarterback, Cam McCoy, small body, but big arm. Huge arm.
Hey, Cam McCoy, I've gotten to see him in a couple jamborees this year.
Okay.
And he's been a guy that I've talked to you a lot about that I think he's going to be special. I think that Coach Bethany found a diamond in the rough, and I think him and Kevin Coleman tag teaming together. I think that's going to be very special.
I was with both of those guys on the circuit in Atlanta and in Nashville, and these guys have a chemistry. I'm looking forward to seeing how they work with the Dragons. And last but not least is Moses Acapella, 6'7", 250-pound defensive end, special kid, really, really smart, out of Ladue, has a bunch of offers, but still very under the radar.
Moses is a kid, man. I'm going to be honest with you. His story is amazing to me. Sat out sophomore year, had some heart problems. He came back junior year, had 65 tackles and 9 sacks. He has offers from Illinois, Michigan State, Nebraska, Ole Miss. I think that his ceiling is ridiculous. And we haven't even seen his best football, I don't think.
We haven't.
That was a year off and he had 65 tackles, 9 sacks.
It's only going to get stronger.
Agreed.
And last but not least, we're going to predictions. Every week we're going to do predictions. Let's start with a game that could be really, really close. I'm looking forward to seeing MICDS versus McClure South Berkeley.
Woo!
Interesting styles. One likes to spread you out in Berkeley and run the ball. MICDS is more of like an option style team who runs the ball. Who do you like in this matchup?
I'm going to go out on the limb. This is a tough game, really, to pick.
It's really tough.
I really think it's like a coin flip game, but I'm going to have to go with McClure South Berkeley. I think
the Bulldogs.
I'm going to have to go with the Bulldogs. I think that those guys are going to be ready to play. It seems like year in and year out, they just keep getting better. So
Coach Brown has done an excellent job of keeping that program afloat and making the most out of the least.
Agreed.
On the other hand, I think I like MICDS, and the reason why is because it's really difficult to prepare for the option. It's not easy.
That is true.
You definitely have to be sound in your position, and you have to know your assignment. And I think MICDS will pull it off by a touchdown. The next game we got St. Mary's versus Westminister, the battle of the private schools. One South City, one West County. Who you like?
I'm going to have to go with Coach Bethany St. Mary's, the Dragons. And the reason I'm going to have to say that, I think that week 1, I think it's going to be Cam McCoy's coming out party. And I think it's also going to be, again, you got to go see him. And Kevin Coleman, I think, is going to be his hello, welcome to high school football. I'm here to stay. So I'm going to have to go with the Dragons this game.
I would have to agree with you. I talked to Cam McCoy yesterday, and he has aspirations of breaking the school record for over 7 touchdowns in one game. He said he wants to do it week 1. Let's see if he can get it done. Woo! I'm so excited about this. It's time to roll St. Mary's by 4 touchdowns. 4. And last but not least, the game of the week.
Our game of the week.
Hazelwood Central, the Smet, Friday night, 7 p.m. Who you like?
Oh, man. It's like Hazelwood Central has... Man, I'm going to have to... This is hard for me. I want to take my time, but I'm going to say I'm going to have to go pick this Smet. But the reason I'm going to pick this Smet, I think that they're impact players. I think they're ready. They play varsity. I'm not sure with the new system at Hazelwood Central how that's going to be. So after week 1,
we'll know a little bit more about Hazelwood Central.
Because I really don't know much about them. I think they're gonna, and with the guys that they lost, I think it's gonna be kind of tough. I think it's gonna be a dogfight though, because I know Hazelwood Central will not lay down.
No, they will not lay down. They'll always have some talent somewhere in that school. I mean, it's ridiculous how much talent they have. But I also, with you, like the Smet because of the system they play in. They know the system. It's there. Hazelwood Central, while talented, they may take a little time to gel and get that cohesive unit going in the right direction. So,
and the Smet also, I'll have to. The reason I also pick them is because a lot of their guys played being young.
Yes.
So that's gonna be. I think they've grown up a little bit more, and they got that glue.
Yeah.
We have one more thing to talk about. Finally, our sleeper teams.
Ooh.
For this high school football.
Sleeper teams. So Friday night, I went to the PHL Jamboree. Most people don't want to go to the PHL Jamboree. Oh, it's in the city. Oh, they don't have any football. Wrong. They're going to be better than expected. Roosevelt High School, the Rough Riders from the South Side. They went 1-9 last year. We looked at their schedule.
We're predicting them to go 6-3 this year.
6-3.
And I think I'm going to be honest with you. Shout out to Coach Porter. I love what you're trying to do over there. I see it. I really do see the change. I feel the culture shifting. I see the swag that you're bringing to the kids.
Yes.
I appreciate your dedication to them day in and day out.
Definitely.
And for that, I think that your hard work and their hard work as well is going to pay off this year.
And quickly, I want to give a shout out to Marcus Golden, who donated money for them to have new jerseys and upgrade their weight room. His mother went to Roosevelt. She's an alumni. It's beautiful. I thank you for putting on for the city.
Oh, and don't forget, Roosevelt has one guy that I want to mention. Terrell Canamore plays wide receiver.
Definitely a stud.
Two-sport athlete, too.
Yeah, big kid, athletic, can get up and go get it. Another sleeper pick on our list is the team we just talked about in the Smet. They went 1-9 last year, but they lost a lot of close games. They have a lot of young players who's coming back, who have some varsity experience now. We like them to go 6-3.
I agree.
And 1-9 to 6-3 is huge.
It is, and I think that they have the talent to do it. I think those guys are ready, and I think Coach Steeples will get those guys ready to go. And I think they're ready to go back to those days when Deron Neal was there.
Yeah, definitely. When they had the Smet rocking, the fans, the kids were crazy.
Back when Smet went to Battle CBC and you knew this is a game you got to go to.
Definitely.
I think they're getting close to that again.
And last on our list of sleeper teams, a team that's close to you in some ways is Webster Groves.
Webster Groves, man, it's a school that I'm looking forward to seeing this year. I got to see them the other day at practice, and they had some players that I was really intrigued with. They had a lot of sophomores playing last year, and they lost a lot of games. They went 5-5, but most of the games that they lost, they were losing close.
And they should have probably won a couple of those games. This year, they got most of the kids coming back. The schedule looks right. We'd like them to go.
I'm going to go 7-2, barring everybody is able to play. If everybody's able to play for Webster Groves, we'll let that play out the way it plays out.
Definitely.
Then I'm going to pick them going 7-2, and I might even go out on the limb and say 8-1. I'm going to say shout out to Coach Ice and all the Kirksey brothers for what they do for Webster Groves. I think those guys, I just know them. They always get you ready to play football. And Definitely. They went 5-5 last year, but that's the thing that I could always say about Webster Groves. They're not big up front. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't have overwhelming a lot of players, but they will be ready to play football. Their X's and O's are good, so that's why I think they'll be a lot better. And finally, it's just a couple kids that I want to name from Webster Groves that I think are going to be special. Cam Yancey, Jaquan Connors, and Jacoby Banks. I think those three guys are going to be very important this year.
Well, I want to say this is our first show of the Elite Report. It's myself, Dorian Brown, Tyler Coleman. We're going to be at a lot of different schools this year. We're going to do the podcast every week, and we look forward to getting response, feedback, and follows, and we just want to be a part of the St. Louis sports community here for amateurs. We thank you. And your last remark.
I only got a couple things to say. I want to say shout out to St. Louis, helping us always, being supportive. And this one last thing I want to say. If y'all got any questions about anything, please send them in, man. We ain't afraid to answer anything.
Elite amstl@gmail.com. If you want to email us, eliteamstl@gmail. We love to hear from you. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
It's the Elite Report, man. We here to stay.
Bam!
Thanks for tuning in to the Elite Report. Subscribe, share, and above all, stay elite.